Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. We're seeing an interesting power play going on in the business world, and it's one that conspiracy theorists and regular people might want to pay attention to. You see, Elon Musk and a couple of his partners have now set their sights on acquiring Disney. Now, I know Elon Musk has an enormous amount of resources behind him. He bought Twitter out, and that seemed to be a bad investment because he lost a bit of money, but he gained equity. He can now borrow against the value of X, because Twitter became X, and then use that to go and finance his purchase of Disney. That's what the super rich do. They keep buying new properties, and that's what increases their value so much. The thing is, I thought Disney was big enough to be immune from this type of corporate takeover. I mean, you're talking billionaire fighting billionaire, and even though the last couple of years for Disney haven't been their best, it's they're not floundering around like some other studios. But let's really look at this. Why would Elon Musk, who's got SpaceX, he says he wants to go live on Mars. He's got Twitter, so he can wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and post anything that he wants. Why would he be interested in purchasing Disney? Well, first of all, it seems he's against Disney's political spin. He's personally sponsoring Gina Carrera, who is an actress, who she made some tweets that you could consider offensive, but when you actually read them, you understand she's using a bad example to prove her point. Do I agree with her? Not totally, but I can see where she's coming from. And I respect her ability to be a free thinker. Now, she was summarily dismissed from The Mandalorian, never even got to film a death scene. But now, a couple of years later, she's decided to sue for wrongful termination. And with Elon Musk's wallet behind her, it's a matter of time. They're going to have to pay her a couple $1,000,000, maybe issue an apology. And that's the only thing that's going to make her go away. And even then, she's a decent enough actress that she's going to get hired somewhere. So it's a liability for Disney. Then Elon Musk comes along, and he does have the ability to make money appear from thin air. But again, my question is, if this man is focused on Mars and future technologies, why buy Disney? The theme parks, let's be honest, they're getting older. And while you should absolutely go see one if you get the chance for the touristy experience and hear those little puppets shriek, it's a small world after all, at you in however many languages it is. Like that ride was developed before I was born. Haunted Mansion was really cool when I was like 9 years old. So why Musk would want to invest in Disney Entertainment is another weird thing. He would probably be better off starting his own company and picking up scraps. Remember, when Marvel was being acquired by Disney, it had Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk behind it. Nobody remembers that Incredible Hulk movie, but everybody remembers the Iron Man movie. So Marvel was not a proven property. And before that, they had hits like Howard the Duck, Punisher, which they seem to keep thinking is going to be a great movie, and they keep screwing up a man on a vendetta going on a mission. Like, pick an 80s movie, and that's pretty much the plot. But Disney took a gamble on it, said, these are properties we can work with. And for a long time, they did a phenomenal job. Right now, not so much, but Disney is awash in cash. Say what you will about their creative team, and believe me, people have. Bob Iger, who's the present CEO of Disney, already said we need to get back to the idea of we make entertainment first. Then, if we can slip in a message, we'll do that second. We need to get back to that idea. Because Disney kind of went down the woke fairy tale hole. It's, we need woke values in our society. I'm not going to say we don't need positive female role models, but at the same token, there's an organic way to do it and there's a forced way to do it. The She-Hulk already existed in comics and in canon. She wasn't an obscure character for the Marvel Universe, but the same token, what they did with that intellectual property was just bizarre. They took what was a serious story where Bruce Banner had to give a transplant because his cousin was injured, and he knew with his blood she was going to wind up as a Hulk. Well, that's a tragic story. It's a horrible consequence. And this one, just the blood drips on her. And then she's lecturing him about he doesn't know what it's like to be a victim and harassed every day. Bruce Banner's character has his father beating him half to death almost daily as a little boy. Like, he is an abuse survivor, and they've decided this character is now going to be played for comic relief. It doesn't do justice to it. See, that's forced wokeness. A good example of something woke? It's hard for me to do because I don't really get into movies. But I think that's the main thrust of Elon Musk's purchase. He wants to get rid of the woke. Well, you're not going to do that in a company like Disney unless you come in, terminate everybody, settle, I don't even know what kind of salaries it would take to fire from a CEO on down and then hire all brand new talent. It was different in the 30s when, Disney was doing it and pilfering employees from Fleischman and other productions like that because everything was so much cheaper. But in today's day and age, everybody has a golden parachute. Everyone's got guaranteed contracts, and it's tough to replace all those people. It really is. Oh, I know a good non-woke character. The original Mulan. Not the live action one, that was terrible, but the original one, it's organic. She shows up, she wants to serve in the army, gets her butt kicked for a bit, but slowly gets better and better and becomes her own champion. Now, there's tragedy in the tale as well, but at the same token, it's organic wokeness. I can't go onto a football field right now, or even when I was in a prime, and just be better than we'll pick on Jerry Smith from the San Francisco 49ers. If he matched up against me today and we were playing backyard ball, I have no doubt he would beat me. But if I worked hard every day, I studied film, I looked at everything he does, I might be able to beat him. Probably not. He's older than me, but at the same token, the cagey old guy's in pretty good shape. Musk is trying to do that, though. He's trying to beat all the resistance around him. Now, he does have a significant financial backer. Can't remember the gentleman's name. He's one of those billionaires that doesn't own a sports team and doesn't, do all the ridiculous criminal things some billionaires get away with. But there's a lot of money between them to split up a company like Disney. And maybe that's what they want to do. They want to split the company up. Elon Musk wants to take Star Wars and turn it into, the Gina Carrera show. Wouldn't be a terrible direction. But at some point, Despite all these distractions of what would these billionaires do and how they would put their will on these companies, the fact is he's going to wind up with so much net worth. Might not have any cash left. A lot of these things are default credit swaps and, future payments, all sorts of, debt transfers. And that's where things get confusing. We don't really know how much money these billionaires have. We know they have objectives, and them coming after Disney. What's next? Time Warner? Oh, Time Warner already got bought out by AOL. And then it became Time Warner because AOL failed. This is not unprecedented. It's just usually it's companies buying other companies, not individuals like Elon Musk targeting major companies. Let's be honest. Twitter/X was always a major player. He just walked in and bought it. What is that? Truth.com or whatever it is? Yeah, that's been trying to kick off the ground forever, and they just don't have the ability to make that a success. Whereas if you buy X or Twitter or whatever, you've got a built-in audience ready to go. That's really what Elon Musk is looking for. He's looking for his built-in audience. No matter what you say or do, he's a showman. He wants to be seen almost like Tony Stark, an Iron Man. It's probably the character he sympathizes with, where he's a superhero in his own mind. He's a genius, philanthropist, playboy. Well, I don't know about the playboy stuff. I have not gone into his love life because I don't particularly care to. But the other stuff he feels applies to him. And he thinks he's sweeping in and saving us all from whatever horrible things Disney is doing. Well, Disney's just trying to make a buck. Can't get mad at them for that. Where does this leave us? The super rich reaching new levels of stupid rich. Elon Musk is poised to become the first trillionaire, at least as an individual. And if he starts collecting companies under his aegis, well, the number one question I always ask, and I never wish harm on anybody, never. I do want to ask this question. They still haven't gotten that life extension technology working yet. Ray Kurzweil has been promising for, 30, 40 years on it, but he hasn't delivered. So does Elon Musk know something we don't? And he's continuing to act like he's a mad business person in his 20s and 30s when he's going to his 60s and 70s. Does he have some sort of knowledge that, this treatment is going to be available at a certain time? And most importantly, what are his plans? Because if he were serious about SpaceX, he'd be focusing on that. Best case scenario, and no one's going to argue this, even with all those resources of money, if he puts everything into SpaceX, we're still at least 20 years away from developing a Mars colony. And this is supposedly his primary objective. So, he's about my age. That's going to put him in his 70s. Now, we know older astronauts have been up. Who was that guy that went up on the shuttle that was also the Apollo astronaut and stuff? Glenn Shepard? He was a senator. I forget. Not always good with names. But he's got a figure on a minimum 6-month voyage to Mars, assuming we get technology developed that has been in the pipeline since the 1960s. Don't think that's going to happen tomorrow. And if we have these 2-year voyages to Mars, I guarantee someone's going to murder somebody else in space. Think about your best friend or your significant other. There's little things they do that annoy you. And you're stuck in a spacecraft about the size of a school bus, especially in total area. So if they're snoring that day and it's keeping you from sleeping, wherever you go, you're going to hear that snoring. If they clip their nails out of boredom. You know those people that are always filing their nails and stuff like that? That's going to drive you nuts for years. Not just getting there, to say nothing about getting back. Yeah, the first murder will be a spaceflight to Mars. Sorry, the first murder in space will be a spaceflight to Mars. And Elon Musk has not said he's going to use any ridiculous technology like, fusion engines, ion engines. He's just going pure chemical at the present time. So is this just something he's doing to occupy him until his scientists say, hey, Mr. Musk, we're ready to go? Or is this part of a more sinister plan where he's assembling an empire to pass on to one of his heirs? Or even better, to become its own entity? We always talk about the criminal globalist corporations, yet we're seeing one grow right in front of us. And worse, we're all feeding its roots. Because every time we use Twitter, every time, well, none of us is using SpaceX yet, but our tax dollars are going towards it. All those things that he makes money on, yeah, that's coming out of our pockets, one way or another, through government taxation or through our direct sponsorship. So, really think about why Elon Musk needs Disney. And I can't think of any reason other than propaganda and putting his own people in and trying to make movies he wants to see. Who knows? Maybe he has good taste in movies and he wants to, make everything better for the bunch of us. Don't know. I've never met the gentleman, and frankly, don't think I ever will. Let's just hope he's a little more honorable than he's been showing lately. With that, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please like, share, because sharing is caring. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Don't forget to click the bell down below so you can be notified every time there's a new show. And we hope you have a fantastic